As you saw in the last episode of McBLOG, which you can see on my website, and there's the address there, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis officially signed the Parental Rights in Education bill into law recently, meaning that public schools are banned from discussing sexuality and gender identity with children in kindergarten through third grade, which is year 4 in New Zealand. So we're talking about 9 years or younger. And it's got to be age appropriate for any age above that at school. It's superb legislation which we should have in New Zealand. But one of the biggest voices of opposition came not only from Democrats and left-wing radical activist groups, which you would expect, but also from a company that you would hope would be safe for our children, none other than Disney. In fact, their response and new information released last week reveals that Disney has gone woke. And you might need to rethink your relationship with future Disney products if you want to protect your children. Let's check it out. So I have to confess, I've been to Disneyland a couple of times in my life, loved it every time. We took our kids there about 8 years ago, very exciting. And one of the familiar sounds of being at Disneyland is the announcements for special events on the, big PA, especially the nighttime street parade and the fireworks, which are very popular attractions. And if you've been there, you'll know exactly what I mean. And you'll also recognize this. All these events usually start with this announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls,
welcome to Disneyland Park.
in just a few minutes, the lights surrounding Paradise Bay will be dimmed,
In just 30 minutes, the rivers of America will come alive.
so you can fully experience Disney's thrilling nighttime spectacular, World of Color.
With the sensational sights and sounds of Fantasmic.
Yeah, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Well, in this virtue signaling woke world of gender confusion, you will no longer hear this at Disneyland. Yep, Disney has gone woke. Leaked video from a company-wide Disney meeting last week has many people outraged, and it was a meeting to respond to the Florida law, which has been totally misrepresented by the left and by the media. And it was a Disney meeting to appease a very small group of Disney employees who didn't like the Florida law. Now, Disney has about 190,000 employees worldwide, but a couple of hundred protested the law, and a spineless Disney executive wilted. But what we've now found out is that Disney has been becoming more hostile for children for a while now. And in this leaked bombshell video released last week, Disney creator and executive producer Latoya Ravno openly states she has a secret gay agenda to insert sexualized content into children's entertainment. Her team has implemented a not at all secret gay agenda and is regularly adding queerness to children's programming. And she's actually secured a new deal with Disney to launch new preschool programming. Have a listen.
Momentum that I felt, like that sense of I don't have to be afraid to, like, let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background this, like, I was just wherever I could just basically adding queerness to, like, if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud family, but like I just was like, no one would stop me.
Oh, okay. So adding queerness wherever I could. She's very excited. But what are we actually talking about when we say adding queerness? Well, according to the latest edict from Duke University, fairly serious university in the US, it is now LGBTQIP2SAA, which stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, queer, intersex, pansexual, two-spirit, androgynous, and asexual. So when they say adding queerness, it's the indoctrination of all these things. But I don't think that most parents look to Disney for sexualized content for their young children. Any sexualized content, and definitely no gender ideology and confusion. Now, in this leaked video, Disney's diversity and inclusion manager explaining that the company will no longer say ladies and gentlemen or boys and girls at their theme parks as part of an effort to erase gender distinctions.
Say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've provided training for all of our cast members in relationship to that. So now they know it's hello everyone or hello friends. We are in the process of changing over those those recorded messages. And so many of you are probably familiar when we brought the fireworks back to the Magic Kingdom. We no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we say dreamers of all ages. And so I love the fact that it's opened up the creativity, the opportunity for our cast members to look at that.
Yep, so let's eliminate all reference to biology. And they're also instructing staff to no longer call young girls princess, even if they are presenting as female. Yep, apparently that princess might have a penis, apparently. Now, Disney's corporate president, Carrie Burke, was also heard on the video. She is the mother of 2 queer children. And she referenced Disney's Reimagine initiative to have 50% of characters and content come from underrepresented groups, which typically would include LGBTQIP2SAA characters. Have a watch.
Here is a mother of 2 queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. One of our execs stood up and said, you know, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what? That can't be true. And I realized, oh, it actually is true. We have many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads.
Yep, so they want it to be even more upfront. And pansexual child, you might have heard that terminology there. I looked it up, and actually I was even more confused, because this is the definition. Pansexuality is attraction to a person regardless of gender. Bisexuality is attraction to some people of 2 or more genders, and polysexuality is attraction to people of many but not all genders. Are you confused? I certainly am. But what you really need to remember here is that we're talking about children. Now, Disney production coordinator Alan March says his team is committed to exploring queer stories, and they've created a tracker to make sure they're creating enough gender non-conforming characters, trans characters, and bisexual characters.
All of our gender non-conforming characters are in the background. And so it's not just a numbers game of how many LGBTQ plus characters you have. We got the further, the more centered a story is on a character, the more nuanced you get into their story. And especially with trans characters, you can't see if someone is trans. There's not one way to look trans. And so kind of the only way to have these canonical trans characters, canonical asexual characters, canonical bisexual characters is to give them stories where they can be their whole selves.
Now, gender non-conforming, trans, bisexual. Remember, this is Disney for kids. Are you getting the big picture yet? It seems that Walt Disney's dream has gone up in smoke from wonderful to woke. The mission of the Walt Disney Company was to entertain, inform, and inspire people around the globe through the power of unparalleled storytelling. But the company has drifted from its mission and ventured into politics, kowtowing to whatever the radical left wants it to. And for Christian parents, for all parents, hoping that Disney will provide their children with family-friendly entertainment like we had growing up, think again. Disney has picked a side to be on in the cultural wars of sexual and gender confusion and indoctrination. Now it's time for us to pick which side we want to be on in order to protect our children.